puncher. Perhaps too much riding over the curbs, all contact, or both. Trouble 2 for Cool Racing. Their LMP3 car, number 17, hard into the wall at turn 1 after missing his braking point. It would be impacts front and rear and game over for the 17, bringing out a caution. Back to green and getting towards the halfway point of round 2, and a great battle for second between the 21 Ferrari of AF Corsa and the championship leading Vulcan-Hurst Motorsports car. Thomas Merrill battling away up the outside, tried the inside, and then an inch perfect move up the inside of the Ferrari towards the final turn on the lap to claim second place. A great move. Would that set up a second win? Trouble again for the number 72 car from Hobb Auto. Braking issues at the front right corner. But then massive trouble and a race-ending, a season-ending incident for the 65 Viper Nisa racing car after contact from the 60 Formula Racing Ferrari. A safety car was inevitable as the lifeblood of the Aston Martin seeped away, and Douglas Koo, thankfully, an elder statesman of the championship from Malaysia, was able to limp away. He would sit down by the side of the track, winded by a massive impact with the wall. The Aston Martin, as we'll see in a moment, leaving part of the car embedded in the trackside signage. The end of the race for the 65 and the end of the championship too. Douglas Koo felt that one, but lucky to get away unscathed as the car was hammered into the wall. Safety car was called, and after 3 laps behind the safety car, the pit lane would open and would become very busy indeed. Charlie Eastwood climbing aboard the number 3 car from the lead with just over an hour to go. One more pit stop to come for all these cars, but everybody into a very busy pit lane, including the 25 from second that would require the dollies to get to its fuel rig. A packed pit lane. There would be winners and losers in terms of time. And when we got back to green flag running, it was a battle for third position this time between Algarve Pro and Nielsen Racing. And it was the Nielsen car in the hands of Matthias Besch that would take that position. The defending champions pushing hard to get back onto terms to retain their title. Getting close to the final fuel stop window, and Charlie Eastwood led the race, but he was being caught at this stage by Nolan Siegel in the 43 car. And with, once again, the DKR team losing time on pit lane, it was Siegel that was soon onto terms with the Northern Irishman. And the pace of the young American against the feisty fighting spirit of the Northern Irishman made for a great battle, finally won inside the final half hour by the Indy Next driver. 43 to the lead from the back of the field, remember, on lap 1. Behind in LMP3, it was a reversal of fortunes between the two battling cars in LMP3. DKR Engineering led the race, but this time it was Graf Racing's turn. Xavier Oliveras putting a move on Fabio Lafleur to put the number 8 Ligier ahead of the 29 MP2S car for second in the points battle. Into Europol would have been nerves jangling as we get closer to the end of the race, that very final lap after the late retirement on Saturday. But this time it was a faultless finish. Christian Bogle, John Cruz, and finally Nolan Siegel bringing home the first ever LMP2 win for the Racing Bakers from Poland. A new look squad and a great win in the Asia Le Mans Series late on Sunday evening for the number 43 Oreca 07. Still battles up and down the field, but it would be a win and a second win in the championship out of 2 for the Valkenhurst Motorsports BMW. Aided somewhat by the safety car, but a dominant run nonetheless. The number 34 car with Chandler Hull, Thomas Merrill and Nicky Katzberg would head the points in dominant fashion after a packed weekend at Dubai Autodrome. And coming in to take the win in LMP3 be the DKR Engineering number 5 Duqueine, Valentino Catalano and Tom Van Rompuy, a dominant win too. Fabulous stuff, and joy from Christian Bogle with Sasha Fassbender, the team manager. Charles Cruz greeting them home. Great stuff too for Valkenhurst and for DKR Engineering. A fabulous race on Sunday evening, and what a way to finish a great doubleheader at Dubai Autodrome.
What a stellar performance from Noah, of course. Will you just tell us about it, how it went for you?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I think, you know, the Inter Europol car was great all day, and Charles and Christian both did an amazing job in their stints. Charles put it on pole, and, you know, we've all led a lot of laps in all of our stints. So it's a real team effort, and it's amazing to come away with the win.
Victorious for Inter Europol competition. DKR Engineering take the LMP3 win, and Valkenhurst Motorsports cap a dominant weekend in Dubai with a second win for them. Algarve Pro Racing a single point ahead of DKR Engineering, with Inter Europol and Nielsen Racing well in touch as well. In LMP3, another great race sees MV2S cling on to the lead from Graf Racing. DKR Engineering close the gap though with the win in the race 2 in Dubai, and a dominant performance again from Valkenhurst Motorsport mean that they will go to Abu Dhabi clear leaders in the championship.
After 2 rounds at the Dubai Autodrome, the Asian Le Mans Series moved south to the capital of the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi, to Yas Marine Circuit, one of the most spectacular and modern circuits in the world, where the 2 final rounds of this year's championship would be decided.
Just an hour down the highway, but Abu Dhabi is a very different place from Dubai. Massive skyline in the background, but plenty of reminders of where we are in the world, and a very different circuit. The ultra-modern Yas Marina circuit and the W Hotel at its centre with Ferrari World. Let's get to hear about it from Oliver Gavin.
On board here with the number 9 P3 car for Graf, heading down pit lane, and we're just going to do a the Yas Marina circuit here in Abu Dhabi. 16 turns, 5.55 kilometers. Into turn 1, hard on the brakes, about 110 kilometers an hour at apex there. Second gear, hard on the power, off of there, flat out through turn 2, about 190 kilometers an hour, and then a little breathe for turn 3, 195 kilometers an hour. Being careful of the track limits on the exit there as you're coming down the hill and into turn 5. New tarmac, high grip. Really good grip here, about second gear, 80 kilometers an hour. Important to get a very good exit for lap time there. This is a good opportunity coming up now, coming into turn 6 for overtaking. It's the longest straight on the racetrack. Looking for that opportunity to pass somebody in your class or to get through traffic. Coming down hard on the brakes now into turn 6, all the way down the box into first gear, 60 k's an hour at the apex there. Very important exit here to get a traction, tricky, a little bit off camber. You're rowing again up through the gears and looking, passing people on this part of the racetrack. Nice open big piece of racetrack, lining yourself up for turn 9. Multi-class racing, super important. Your position here, turn 9, another place that has got a lot of grip, and it's multi-lines and lanes here, which really helps with this multi-class racing. So as you come through and off, flat out through turns 10 into 11, then hard on the brakes with the W Hotel right in front of you, down to about 90 kilometers an hour. Another tricky left-hander off camber, still second gear, and another tricky left-hander off camber. It's super important with the traction off of here, and then lining yourself up for the last 2 corners of the racetrack. and you're coming down into the final corner, second gear, 90 kilometers an hour at the apex, and that is another lap of the Yas Marina circuit here in Abu Dhabi.
This is an urgent appeal. Please stop and look. This is Yemen right now. Years of conflict have left the health system on the brink of collapse. Children in Yemen right now face unimaginable horrors, war, hunger, and disease. Yemen may seem far away, but there is something that you can do to help. Search UNICEF Yemen online or text Yemen to 85525 to find out.
Race 3 of the Asia Le Mans Series in 2023 was race 1 at Yas Marina, and as Ahmed Al-Hati, the pole sitter, pulled away, there was a tussle between 3 cars behind that saw Rodriguez fourth place as the P2 cars came roaring down to the hairpin. Up at the top there is the smoke trail from the number 21 Ferrari. A puncture and then a subsequent spin saw contact with the Bullet Racing Aston Martin, both cars more or less out on the spot, and then side-by-side contact with the second AF Corsa Ferrari, the number 60 Formula Racing team, and the 77 D-Station Aston Martin. Up front though, it was Sally Jolic going for the lead into the chicane and putting the move on Ahmed Al-Hati that forced the Omani driver wide, allowed Charles Cruz through to second, and Paul de Reuter charging from further down the grid up to third in the 22 United Autosports Oreca. Charles Cruz looked to try to make it 3 leaders on the first lap with a move around the outside of turn 9, the bank turn, the 43 car running a little wide but finding enough traction even over the curbs to make the move stick as De Resta tried to follow suit but found that Sally Jolic was not eager to give away the place. Cruz ran wide but still retained the lead as again De Resta looked up the inside this time of the number 3 car, but once again Sally Jolic not keen to let the Scot through. Tussle between 2 of the GT cars at the chicane brought out brief yellow flags, And behind, there were battles aplenty in P2 and P3, as Torsten Kratz once again led in the number 11 WTM by Rinaldi Duquesne, looking for better luck today than he had in Dubai. De Resta was soon into second spot and on the tail of Charles Cruz as Mikkel Jensen, the car guy 57 Ferrari, led GT from Neil Talbot, charging the number 72 Hub Auto Racing AMG. Battle for third was Algarve Pro Racing's John Falb, also having put a move on Ahmed Al-Hati, but proceedings were soon interrupted after a huge accident for Johnny Larison, tagged by an LMP2 car and pitched into the barrier at turn 1. That would leave the car wrecked, Larison mercifully unhurt, but the barriers requiring 50 minutes repairs under the red flag. When the race went back to green, we had a new lead battle as cars pitted into Europol with Charles Cruz fending off the second United Autosport car, the number 23 of Yasser Shaheen, for the lead as the halfway point approached. 43 cutting off the challenge from 23. There was a further battle as the 25 car from Algarve Pro Racing fended off the 98 racing car, and the 22 United Autosports car tried to see off the challenge from the number 3 D-Car Engineering car that led the championship at this stage. 22 though would soon be by the number 3 after a spirited resistance from the number 3 car. It would be United Autosports up into 3rd and 4th at this stage. Just under an hour and a half to go, and a good result looked on for United Autosports. Battle for second this time between Christian Boglum and Paul De Resta. De Resta in the slipstream coming into the back turn, and again looking for the favoured outside line. Would it work? Not this time. Would the cutback work? Not at all. Emerging as a real contender was the number 37 car, Nico Lapierre, stepping aside to allow his young protege Malte Jakobsen full song for 3 of the 4 hours in this race. LMP3 battle and the GT battle had been rather interrupted by the red flag. It was a strong run for the MV2S racing squad. Battle for fourth between Nielsen Racing, Matthias Besch looking to fend off a charging Neil Jani in the 98-99 racing car. The Swiss on Swiss battle would go on for lap after lap. Trouble for the number 43 car, missing its pit stall as the team's LMP3 car was already on pit road. And a tear off for Jani. He was struggling to get the battle done with Matthias Besch. Jakobsen, though, was imperious as Alexandre Kwani looked on. His young teammate was securing a very healthy lead. Into the final pit stops, and the 24 car managed to get by the 98. Jakobsen, meanwhile, looks set for a reasonably easy win, as just as Kyffin Simpson in the 25 Algarve Pro car looked like he might be able to contest a podium position, a spin out of the final turn left him backwards into the barriers. Later emerged a gearbox fault had left the car out of control, and also meant that Simpson was left without a gear to be able to restart. He finally restarted the car in second. Into the final moments, with the yellow flag still there for a stranded Kyffin Simpson, who would make the finish. Jakobsen on his way to a famous win, his first in LMP2, to follow up with his LMP3 title in the European Le Mans Series of 2022. it would be Cool Racing from United Autosports 22 and United Autosports 23 at the finish of this race. And a famous victory for the number 7 Al Anamar racing car from the Hout Racing team of Faisal Al Jaber, bringing the car to the finish. And a win too for Nielsen Racing after bad luck in Dubai. Tony Wells and Matt Bell, the team looking to get back on track after a 2021 title and less luck last year. HRT Al Anamar Racing were absolutely elated and pleased too with the Cool Racing team. They were utterly delighted with the form of the young Dane, who has surely got a huge future ahead of him. 3 more different winners in race 3, and that left title battles aplenty to go forward for the final race, which would come just 24 hours later, again of course at Yas Marina Circuit.
Malte Jakobsen, I am speechless, but not surprised. Congratulations for your first race victory in an LMP2 car. How do you feel?
Lead the way with just 1 race to go. They've got a 9-point gap over 2 teams on even points, Arcard Pro and DKR Engineering. MV2S and Graf Racing 10 points apart now, with DKR still in the hunt. And in GT, it's a dominant lead for Valkenhurst Motorsports over the on-form Hout Racing team AMG and GetSpeed AMG teams. BMW lead the way.